Razorbacks. This is going to be our annual game that's on our calendar. What can we expect offensively from the Longhorns this week?
Man, look, it's so funny with college football and how it's like just waves and ebbs and flows. Because 5 weeks ago, Arch Manning was the worst thing since sliced bread. And if you quiet as it's kept, Arch Manning has done everything he's needed to do to be the elite quarterback to have Texas win 4 out of 5 games in a row. On offense, I just think that it's very simple. I think this is a fund, and Toma and Jonesy talk about it all the time, man. We need a fundamental game of just doing stuff right. I don't, and what that specifically is, it's so basic. I need you to run 5 yards because it's a 5 yard route because it's 3rd and 4. I need you to run 5 yards. I need you to turn around and I need you to catch the ball and I need you to fall down. I don't need you to tap it twice and run back. I think on offense, I need an offensive lineman. If a guy's in front of you, you put your hands on him and don't let him tackle the guy that has Manning on the back of his shirt. If you're a running back and you start doing all these jukes, just go ahead and fall forward. Because here's the thing, guys. If you're 5'8", if you just dive forward, I think that's 3 yards. You do that 3 times, bro. If you got any hands, it's the
Come on,
first.
bro.
And I know it sounds
Good
crazy
breakdown.
how basic this is because I remember, man, when we first got Sark, and even though the team he was in transition, Jonesy and I were sitting in our spot, and we both looked at each other and was like, "We got plays." But I think now we don't even get to the play. Like that drive that we had those 3 drops in a row, like that ain't the play. That ain't Arch. That ain't Sark. It's our guys. That's the coach in the jug machine doing these things, bro. And also, it's about relatability and understanding your players. If you think Ryan Wingo can only catch long punts that are over 50 yards and 5 yard routes, well, stop throwing him something 17 yards, right?
Yeah,
Stop doing that.
but the other thing in terms, you mentioned the word consistency earlier on, right? And I think we haven't tried to consistently run the ball, or we haven't run it with any consistency, right? Now, I've been talking about trench warfare since the beginning of the season. I've probably been talking about it for the last 20 years. That's what I look at when I look at football. And I've seen improvements in O-line, but I need consistency in terms of play calling and commitment to at least be able to set up play action from that standpoint. Here's the truth. I'm gonna let you guys talk about defense, what we'll do, but offensively, we should have a day. Art should have a day. We're coming back home, but I need to see us run the ball, baby. I need to see us run the ball a little. And shout out to Trey. I want to see a little more CJ, but we've got to be able to get more than average 60, 75 yards rushing. That is not the way Sarkis built Texas offensive football. And so that's just where I am with it. I feel good about it. I think there'll be domination. Well,
Well,
I'm gonna
to
take
your
that anyway.
point, to
Take
your
that word out
point
of my
of
mouth.
running, this gonna be the first Sark offense in like 8 to 10 years, and we're not gonna have 1,000 yard rusher. And it's so crazy, man. When I talk about exotic, you talk about play action. Why would when Arch turns around and you're 17 carries for 29 yards? Why would I act like I care that you about to hand off the ball? Like there's nothing to say. Oh man,
Yeah.
there's no play action. It's all
Right.
It's all
Yep.
action
as it's all action.
for the
And to
defense.
your point, Noma, and to your point, we're not pulling no linebackers up. There's no safety creeping
Right.
down. It's like
Yeah.
our 4 guys and 1 linebacker are going to tackle whoever we got. So
Yeah.
that's what we need.
I'm gonna jump in before the defense goes, but I think Sark is priming the pump. And what do I
Mm.
mean by that?
Mm.
Arch needs a lot of reps.
Yeah.
You
Arch
said
needs
that. I mean, you've said
yeah,
that plenty. Yeah.
Mm.
he needs a lot of reps, right? And we can run like you can see Trey's proven he can run the ball. CJ can run the ball, but what we've always questioned since game 2 this season, or Florida is like, can Arch throw the ball? He needs to become the elite quarterback that he will become. He
That's a
needs a
good
lot
point.
of reps to get that ball in there. And we can say run, 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 but if he doesn't get actual game practice,
What are you talking about? I hear you. I just disagree, but
if he doesn't get that, we will never be elite. So look, I don't expect us to win the Natty this year. We may be close to it, but next year, when he's elite throwing the ball, he's better throwing the ball, and the running game gets rolling. you won't be able to stop us offensively. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
But
Talk about it
and
from the beginning.
let me jump
and
in.
we're with. Go ahead, Jonesy.
I don't want to just put it in on him as well. Like, I think a big thing that we need to probably get down to, LSU has made themselves as a football school where they just have amazing wide receivers. Our receiver core over last year and some other ones. I mean, we have guys who catch the ball with their hands. They're watching the ball go in. If I go back to Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice said at one time, if the ball touches your hands, you're supposed to catch it. Plain and simple, Ed.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you look at like some of the miss or the drop balls over there. I mean, Arch was hitting them. Like Arch was hitting them. This game, I was like, this ain't him. He hitting them. He is hitting them. They're missing drills. And I looked over at some of the Georgia fans. I was like, that's a drill they do in the combine. Across and have to catch over here. This is straight triangle. We know this. These are fundamental ways. If you can't catch the ball there, then how are you going to end up going on to the next level? So I think it's one for y'all. Of course, I think your offensive line, Thoma, you touched on it. He's got to get a second to get it out. But even the way that Arch was able to maneuver and adapt and conform to get the ball out against a team who is easily got. I mean, they got how many first rounders on that defense that they were coming, man, and they were running stunts. I mean, they were doing a lot. And for Arch to maneuver and to get that ball out the way he was, and to read the defenses like he was doing, shout out to him. But unfortunately, some of the wide receivers let him down. And to your point, Rodney, I think that's when you have to have that accountability on each side, being like, what's going on, man? Like, what's the deal today? Is today not the day for you the way it needs to be? You look back to our national championship team. Remember when Huff I'm gonna preach real quick. Give me a second. Highlight me. That's all it is. Here we go.
Bring it back up.
If you look at the USC game, Huff was like, yeah, man, I caught the interception right at the end, and then immediately goes over to the offense and says, so what y'all gonna do now? And this is the kind of accountability that team ended up having. We're doing our part. You all are going to do your part, but they would pump each other up the way it needs to. You look at some of the greats the way that they are, your Tom Brady's, your Peyton Manning's, anybody that said they're like, man, I threw the ball to you, you dropped it. Okay, well, you don't get anything for the next half. All right, so, it's just, and we know the way that those are. You have to be, especially when you're playing those big teams like Georgia and a lot is on the line, you just got to play perfect. Because that's the next level, perfection. Everybody was the man. Everybody was coming off the end. Everybody was stunting the way it was. Everybody's going. And if you can't do it at those given times, how are you going to expect to prevail in the next level? That's it. I'm done.
Give that man a chance to breathe with it, huh?
That's good.
I just want to say it's a learning development season. And we said that at the beginning of the year. So I think that's important for us to acknowledge that, because that number one ranking had, a mindset shift for a lot of people. But I think the reality, we know where we were, learning, development, and building. And I hear what you're saying, and I actually concur and agree, MD, in terms of what we're seeing is building. But so you're saying we're not going to run the ball next year either? We got to
to that.
I'm saying we will run the ball next year, but he will also have a passing arsenal. What we don't need to do is try to run all this year and he not improve his passing game, because then we'll be in the same position we were this year.
Yeah.
Let me touch on. I want to go back to we need to get through this Arkansas matchup. So I'll talk a little defense here. Anthony Hill Jr. is out with a broken hand.
Probably for the year.
He's definitely out for this weekend. So we'll see what that looks like long term. But I think our defense has enough to withstand a weak Arkansas offense. Honestly, we got Brad Spence that's going to come in and take up some of those reps that are going to be left on the field by Anthony. We have to have better. This Waits, Jonesy, Thoma, you all connected on it. We have to have better communication in the game, during the game. It's about like understanding what's in front of you and calling it out and communicating. Okay, sorry to go back to the Georgia game. You can't have the same route run on you twice for a touchdown and not have a defender anywhere close to the receiver. It just doesn't make any damn sense. So going back to Arkansas, those issues have to get corrected. I don't trust that Arkansas is going to be able to be as dynamic, obviously, on offense. They've got a little something. So our defense should play better. Our interior line, they wore down. They did the best they could, but they're going to come out and establish themselves just like they've done the rest of the season. Our back end secondary has got to communicate, and we've got to understand schematically what's in front of you so that we don't continue to have these egregious open receivers and these run plays that we get gashed for 20, 30 yards when it should have been a 5-yard stop or a stop at the line of scrimmage. So again, I think that our defense will dominate against Arkansas. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but we've got to make some improvement across the board.
I think you touch in on and you hone in on one thing that is probably key with that. Not only communication, but I want to hone in on just saying we need to learn how to adjust and adapt maybe a little bit better. Yep. Last game we were running the cover 3 over and over, and we know everybody that runs a cover 3, it leaves open 2 different areas, the seams and the flats. And when the game was done, I think in frustration, I'm talking to Rodney and Thoma, and I say, how many times does the bootleg work? Did anybody see it? And I think Rodney and Thoma both threw up their hands and with it. I mean, every damn time it seems like apparently, and that was it. Is that Georgia just went to fundamentals, right? They tested everything. This shout out to Kirby Smart once again. They went right directly at Anthony Hill in the linebacker area. They were like, let's run at him. Okay, now let's pass at him and try to take him out of the game the way it needs to. And we didn't want to adjust over to a lot of man coverage when we needed to, maybe in thirds. We still kept playing cover 3. And once again, what did they do? To Rodney's point that he said that we were talking about earlier. Hell, we'll take the 4 yards. We'll take the 5 yards. Boom. We'll throw a layered pass right in between because the safety's already playing off too far and the other ones are pulled in. And as long, shout out to their quarterback too, by the way. He played some of the best football I think that we've seen in a minute.
Yes.
He was dropping some dimes in some areas that we didn't necessarily end up seeing. So I'm talk about the last game because I keep going back to it. I apologize, but I do think it's important in order for us to adapt and adjust. And when you start looking at these teams the way they need to, they start doing something maybe a little bit different, and they come out and they maybe try a new scheme, or it's like, hey, let's put them down here. Let's maybe do this. Clearly, maybe third down conversions, they're doing this. Maybe second, they're consistently doing that. You have too many iPads. Run the data. I don't know.
Google tablets.
I don't know what it is.
It's there. It's there.
Microsoft sleeves.
I love it. So consensus is we're gonna smoke Arkansas. We're gonna smoke us some Razorback. Have us
smoke
some,
brisket, not nothing else, like
smoke
brisket.
Like pork, baby.
Yeah,
smoked turkey.
Pork. We're gonna have like a
pork,
RBLT Razorback lettuce and tomatoes this weekend with a side of some jalapeno chips.
Side note, the RBLT MD is very good. Just I don't know if everybody caught that, but you said RBLT.
I did.
Little Razorback.
I'm glad that you caught that. I'm glad that you caught that. Well, let's see if our receivers can catch this weekend.